I'm making this video as an update about my tattoo removal journey. Lately, I have been kind of focusing on my tattoo again. I kind of go through cycles where I sort of forget about it or I get busy, and then suddenly I'm like really on it and I really want to figure out what to do. I think now I'm on summer break, so probably being less busy, I have more time to think about it. So I'll start with my most recent procedures and then kind of go into the future or what the future might hold. I've posted a few video updates about this, and I know that it's been helpful for some um, people who are going through a similar process. And for me, I am always looking for other people's advice, I guess, and I'm always searching like to see if other people are experiencing the same thing I am with the tattoo removal. It's really rare that I find other people who have had the same like similar circumstances. Usually people are removing small tattoos or black ink. And in my case, it's a little more complicated because it's color and it's like huge. So it's been difficult to find other people who have also gone through this and had success or failure. So it's really tough to kind of like gauge or predict what I'm going to experience. So that's why I'm making this video. It's good for me to look back on it, I think, but also because I know that for me there wasn't much out there, so maybe someday other people will be able to kind of watch and see from my point of view. Obviously this is very anecdotal and my circumstances are not ever going to be exactly the same as someone else's, because tattoo removal, from what I've learned, depends largely on the skin type, skin color, the depth of the ink in the tattoo, the location of the tattoo, the size, the colors, the laser that you use. So obviously these videos are not going to be like 100% helpful, but I think it's just good to know like what kind of steps you have to go through to figure it out. So up until this point, I had been going to the same dermatologist for years, and that dermatologist was using a Q-switch laser on my tattoo and also using something called the R20 method, which means that basically you go over the same area with the same laser several times in one session. So, but with the Q-switch laser, only small parts of the tattoo were able to be treated at one time. I'm not really sure if I understand the reason behind that, but I do know that it took longer because the Q-switch laser is, well, actually, I don't know the reason, but when the Q-switch laser was used, it seemed like it took a lot longer to cover a small part, so I would assume that like doing the whole tattoo would have taken a really long time and be extremely painful. The Q-switch laser was also really painful for me, from what I remember, compared to like picosure. So I was seeing that doctor with the Q-switch laser R20 method and not getting a lot of progress. The doctor himself is amazing and really honest, and he helped me with a lot of other skin problems, but he was pretty straightforward with me during our last session a few months ago that I should reconsider continuing to get laser treatment on my tattoo, that my results were kind of plateauing and with the Q-switch laser, and that it wasn't likely I would be happy with the end result. He didn't really say anything about whether a Q-switch laser was part of that problem, or like if I switched to a different type of laser, if that would help. But I took what he said and kind of sat on it for a while and thought about it, and kind of restarted my search and started reading again about the pico laser, because I did receive one treatment when I was in Florida, which I made a video about, that seemed more effective and seemed more current, like more updated compared to the Q-switch laser. And the fact that they were able to treat my whole leg at once was awesome. Although the healing part was more drastic and painful. So anyway, I started thinking about that again. And for those of you who are not familiar with the difference between the lasers, I'm not a dermatologist at all, and I don't think that I can really explain it properly, but from what I've read, basically the Q-switch laser emits a slower, still fast, but slower pulsation. I don't know how to say it, but basically the picosure is faster, so it's more intense. And apparently, supposedly, the pico lasers can attack a wider range of colors, so they have more wavelengths that they can break into compared to the Q-switch laser. But I've also read that the Q-switch laser is much more effective for certain colors like black and red compared to the pico lasers. So it's kind of like, I don't really know which way to go with it, but yeah, I've read like lots of different things, and I'm not sure. Like, for example, I keep reading that the Q-switch laser is the gold standard of tattoo removal. But then I'm reading, like, the new Pico laser is amazing. It's powerful. It's really strong. And now, like, there's no comparison. So I don't really know, honestly, which one is actually better because I don't have the knowledge to know that. I'm just reading stuff on the internet, and there's lots of conflicting information. So I'm honestly at a point where I don't really know, and it's a little bit stressful because I don't know which way I should go with it. So recently I started the search again. I got some help finding clinics in the area who have the Pico laser, and I started kind of looking into it. And then I went for a consultation at one really big clinic very close to my place. They specialize in tattoo removal, and I was seeing like people in the clinic who had like huge tattoos, so it made me feel a lot better because I wasn't the only one with this problem. And that clinic is very big and very well staffed, I would say, and they have really good bedside manner, I would say, as well. So I guess being in Gangnam and having a lot of other foreigners coming here and getting treatment, it's a lot easier for me because there's always an English speaker, and they're very attentive to your needs and things like that. So anyway, I did the consultation. I thought about it for a while. I went back to get treatment. And the problem at that time was I had made a mistake with the pricing, and I had miscalculated how much it was going to cost by a lot. So when I got there, they put the numbing cream on there and it was time to pay. And when I saw the price that I was being charged, I was like totally shocked. So I don't really want to say how much it was. But when I was in Florida, I paid about $400, I think, for one session for my whole leg. So that kind of gives you an idea. It was a lot more than that for one session, more than double. So they have these little packages where you pay for a few sessions ahead of time, you get a discount. So for example, if you pay for 2 sessions at once, it's going to be less per session, but you have to pay it at once. So I ended up paying for 2 sessions. That was way more than I could afford, to be honest, but I didn't want to pay for just one session, thinking that I would miss out on like a big discount. And yeah, so I paid it. And then when I looked into it a little bit with my interest rates and stuff, my interest rates would kind of I would still be paying the same per session, kind of, if you think about like the fact that I have to pay it off and I have to pay interest. So it was kind of messy, and I kind of figured it out for that. Like if I need to continue that way, it's going to be really challenging for me, but I kind of have to decide like what it's worth for me in the long run. So they estimated more than 10 sessions of treatment, so the total cost is like absolutely crazy. And very, very, very daunting. So I was really worried about this, and I was thinking a lot and really stressed out about the cost. And then I was also thinking about the result and like how is this going to be, like going there every month pretty much, or every other month for up to 2 more years, and having the healing process like every single month I'm going to be having to heal my leg. And so anyway, I did it. I have to say, this clinic, if you want to know the name of the clinic, you can reach out to me and I'll let you know. But they were awesome. The doctor was really, really awesome and really comforting. The coordinator there, like the consult person, was really awesome and very friendly, and she's like always in my reach. Like I can text her anytime, and I've gone back a couple of times to get like aftercare, and it's always been free. The consultation was free. When they did the treatment, I really liked that they used numbing cream, and they also had like a nurse spraying some cooling mist on my leg while they did it, and another person using the kind of vacuum that sucks up the heat. So the pain was really bearable. It was like a 4 out of 10 most of the time. So that was great, and I really love that, and it's borderline worth paying a little bit extra to get that kind of care, because the pain that I had before with the Q-switch laser, even with the numbing cream, and I had at some point like a Novocaine shot or whatever, anesthesia, local anesthesia, still very painful the first time. So that was nice, and I would be willing to pay a little bit extra for that, to be honest, but I'm paying a lot. So anyway, I did that. The healing process was shocking because I've been so used to getting the Q-switch laser in this like small spot, and the healing time is very fast. I wasn't getting blisters, but this laser, I don't know if it's just like super powerful, if that's why, but the healing thing has been crazy. Like just today I would say I feel comfortable, but it's been 2 weeks or more since I got the laser treatment. The first week, huge blisters. It's really gross, but I had really big blisters, and they weren't really painful, but it was very uncomfortable, and I had to be really careful. I went back to the clinic the day that the blisters kind of came up, and then they helped me to get rid of the blisters, and they gave me some really nice like treatment for whatever, and it was helpful. But then the skin on the blisters was getting kind of like sketchy looking, and it was painful, so I went back a second time, and they disinfected it and everything like that. And after that, like once the blisters were gone, it was really, really painful for about 4 days, I would say. Really painful. I didn't want to get water on it. Like getting in the shower was really, really aversive to me, and yeah, it was really difficult. I had to keep ice on it all the time. It was like really hot, and now it's scabbing, so it's getting kind of dry and a little bit itchy, but nothing major. It doesn't really, I don't have any big like issues with it right now compared to what it was, but it was really painful, and for 2 weeks I had like stuff going on, and now we're on like the second week, I think, and it's still not totally healed. But I will say that, I mean, it's hard to tell because it's drying now, so the skin actually looks a bit darker. But I think that the fading I can see already in the blue colors, the black a little bit, the green, but the red is still very strong. So that's one thing. But I can show part of this video, I can show what it looks like right now. Maybe I'll just do that now, and then I'll explain what I've done since the last treatment. Okay, so this is what it looks like. How can I prop this? Maybe, I don't know how, it's really hard to show, but this part was treated and it's still very red, so you can tell that like this didn't really change at all. And these leaves, like this one, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of turning yellow. The back part, all of this is like really scabbed right now, but it is fading. But I mean, honestly, like this is not a noticeable change for probably most. Like for me, I can see. Maybe I can just kind of scan my leg with this. I'm sorry, I'm not really. Okay, I'll just have to do it like this. But Let me try not to lose my balance here. You can see like it's healing here and it's changing color. Like this part wasn't treated, this part was treated, so you can see the difference. But it looks a little darker, I think, now because it's drying. But I think once it all heals, it will be a bit lighter. Okay, that's enough of that. So basically, I had one session of Pico. Ooh, my laundry. I had one session of Pico laser when I was in Florida, and now I've had a second session for half of my tattoo. So if I needed more than 10, then I need like 8 or more. And yeah, I have to really think about this financially, and it's honestly like emotional because it's just thinking like, is it worth it? Is this something like worth spending that amount of money on? And if it's not, then I'm gonna have to like keep this thing on my leg and just keep living the way that I mean, I shouldn't complain, things could be a lot worse, but not being able to wear certain clothes and be comfortable like when it's really hot outside or something, and just being so like limited in that way is kind of stressful, especially when it's something that was in my control and sort of feels like it's in my control now. But I have to really think about it, and if I don't continue getting the laser treatment, now I have like this kind of removed tattoo, and it's almost worse than it was in the beginning to just stop and keep it like this, because A, I spent all this money already, and then I still have the tattoo, and B, it actually looks a lot worse because it's like getting removed, so it's kind of spotty and weird. So I don't know, it's a lot to think about. That being said, because of the price of the clinic that I recently went to, I really wanted to find other options. So I started like this intense research and like contacting hospitals. Some of them I still need to open the emails and see, but for the most part they were pretty similar to what I paid at the last place or more. So yeah, surprisingly some of them were more expensive. And this whole thing was really shocking to me because in America it's a lot cheaper, and I guess that's because of like the supply and demand or something, but there are a lot of clinics here who do it, but it's super expensive. Anything with Pico on it is expensive. The Q-switch lasers are not as expensive, but maybe not as effective. I still don't really know. So anyway, I finally found one that quoted me like half the price of what I'm paying now. So I made an appointment. I went there today, and basically the estimate that they gave me before I went was pretty similar. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's still like half the cost of what I'm paying now if I continue at the current clinic. So the thing is, like during the consultation, if I want to compare the 3 doctors that I've seen most recently, the dermatologist that I normally go to told me that for the part of my leg that he was treating, which is like the bottom near my ankle, it's kind of plateaued in how much can be removed, and that I should reconsider getting the tattoo removed because of the cost and possibility that it's not going to work. And that was the Q-switch laser. Okay, so then the second clinic that I went to most recently that I got treatment, they basically told me like 95% this will be gone with the picosure and pico way. I think that's what they use. And the only thing you need to worry about is like hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation, which honestly at this point I don't really care about. And also blistering and the healing process, and they didn't want to treat the whole leg at once. They wanted to treat like half of it at once because of the impact that it has on me, like the healing process, I guess. They wanted to break it into half, and then they wanted to switch it into colors. So the doctor wants to treat like certain colors at in each session, I guess, because the wavelengths and the lasers have to be switched. They used 2 different lasers last time I was there in one session. So basically they didn't promise me anything, but I signed a paper that said like 95% clearance and the possibility of hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation. Then also they told me it would probably take more than 10 sessions. So every 8 weeks getting the same area treated, it's going to take more than a year, 2 years. So that was what I got from them, which was actually really helpful to hear. It was good to hear anyway, I should say, because I was really thinking about what the previous person said, that I should maybe give up on like trying to remove it. So hearing them say like 95% clearance was really good to hear. But then this place I went to today, they use Pico Plus and picosure. Pico Plus I've not heard of until today. And they were, the first thing that she told me was all of the like bad stuff first, basically. And she was like, I'm sorry to like tell you all the complications first, but you should know this. So basically she said it's really difficult to remove red and black with the lasers that they have. So I should know. The blisters are a lot more likely because of the color and the size, so I'll probably have a lot of blistering. And the result is, it didn't seem like they were as sure about the end result. Like I didn't get that like 95%, like, yeah, this will definitely be removed. Whereas the other place, the way they talked to me was like, this will definitely be gone. Like for sure you won't have a tattoo if you continue and you have to go through all these treatments. But you will definitely not have a tattoo there anymore if you do these things. So there was a little bit of a difference there. They didn't sound as confident, I guess, that it would have that result. So I don't really know what that means for me, but basically that's what I got. But they were very professional, and they used numbing cream before. I don't know that they used the other things, so the pain might be a bit higher in that regard. But the price, like I said, is half. So they told me all of those things. They told me the price, and but they also told me that they would be willing to treat the whole tattoo in one session, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, because the first time I got the Pico treatment in Florida, I got the whole leg treated, and the day after I was really tired and I felt really like sick, and it was also summer and it was really hot and I felt very weak. So that wasn't a good experience. But this time I did half the tattoo and I didn't feel like that at all. I felt fine. I went to work the next day, didn't feel sick or tired at all. But the blisters were really, really intense. So I can imagine that like having more blisters is going to be more stressful. So, but honestly, if it cuts down like the number of sessions and the number of visits I have to do, then better. Because if I do it in half, that means get a treatment done to this part of my tattoo, have blisters for 2 weeks, get this part treated, have blisters for 2 weeks. So like constantly switching the symptoms. So like almost all month I will have some kind of something going on with my leg, and that doesn't sound very fun. So I have to consider that as well. But anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. It looks like right now I have to wait until this heals and kind of really see how much has faded, but I'm assuming that it's going to take at least 10 more sessions on top of what I've already done. It could be like a total of 15, I guess. And I have to kind of think about what kind of laser is going to be the best option for me, and whether I should even do this. So that's the point where I'm at right now. If I do continue with the laser treatment via Pico, I probably will switch to this cheaper clinic, just because the price difference is so huge that it's not worth it for me to stay at the current one when the difference between the treatment doesn't seem to be that much of an impact to make the price that much worth it to stay where I'm at, if that makes sense. So we'll see. I have to think about it. And anyway, for anyone who's going through this kind of similar thing, I guess all I can say is really, really consider and think about what you want and what you're willing to pay. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is what am I willing to pay to be able to wear a skirt that comes above my knees, or like be able to wear short pants even that don't cover my ankle at work. So is it really worth it to go through so much time, energy, pain, healing, and money to get that result, and I'm kind of figuring that out now. So but only that person with the tattoo can decide, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, that you're crazy, like why would you pay that much money, just keep your tattoo, like it's not that bad, like it's fine. But I know that those people don't understand actually what I'm experiencing, and there's no way that they can. So only I can really make that decision, and I can't really ask people's advice who don't have the same situation, which has made it a little bit more stressful. So I just want to say good luck to you with that, and connect with me if you feel like you need someone to talk to who has the same kind of experience. I know I've made a couple of online friends who are kind of going through the same thing, and it's been really helpful for me and them, I think, to have someone to just complain to sometimes and just say like, man, this really sucks, like I can't believe I'm going through this. And it's kind of a relief when you know that you're not crazy for wanting to do it, and people understand how desperate you might feel, and how serious it can be for you. So that's really important. So that's why I'm making these videos, because I know that I haven't found anything like this to help me, and I want to have something out there for other people who might be in the same situation. So I hope this helps somebody. And also, I can send like progress pictures to people if you PM me or DM me. I don't want to post them all over the place, because I'm sure there's people who don't want to see that. But I have taken some progress photos, and I will continue to do so. So yeah, you can just send me a message if you have anything to say, any questions, or you're just curious about like the progress so far. But the honest truth is, it's been slow, very expensive, and very complicated. So that's where I'm at right now. And how many years have I been doing this? For my leg, it's been a little bit less, because I mostly focused on like this one, which is pretty much gone, and my feet, which are gone. My feet tattoos are gone, not my feet. But the tattoo on my leg has been kind of like spotty. Like I would start and then stop, and I've only had 2 sessions on the whole leg. So it's still relatively new on a consistent basis, but I've been getting tattoos removed for the past 3 or 4 years. So it's been a really long time. And hopefully 5 years from now, the goal is I don't have any tattoos on my body anymore. So 5 years from now, let's see, hopefully I'll be there, but I might check in again after a few months and just check in about the progress. Okay, so thank you, and I hope this helps, and if not, I hope it wasn't too boring. Okay, bye.